Akwaaba, good afternoon. Welcome everyone. Today is Sunday, the 11th of July. If you're watching it live, and if you're in the UK, this is the day when it might be coming home. It's a narrative given the football that's on later. If you don't like football, then I guess switch off and watch another channel. But anyway, welcome to Akwaaba Yoga. My name is Mark. If you've not practiced with us here before, I want to welcome. This will be a nice 45-minute flow. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. As always, please do listen to your own body. So if you've got any aches or pains or injuries, just be mindful. This is virtual, so I'm not there to be able to offer any guidance. But yeah, if I can say anything, just be mindful and really try and just keep in tune with your breath. Don't try and hold your breath. Just breathe throughout the practice and come to child's pose at any point. But yeah, let's get cracking. Good afternoon to Queen P. I met a fellow walker over the weekend I can introduce you to. And B, lovely shout out. I saw She's Got Skills from Annie over the weekend. So yeah, let's get cracking. We are going to start on our back today. So come onto your mat and just lie down on your back. We're going to come into Baddha Konasana legs, so feet together and knees apart. Rest the back of your head on the mat. Just place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. Just lift up the head, take your chin to the chest, and then bring your head back down to the mat. And all we've done there is just lengthen out through the back of the neck. So you've got a little stretch going whilst we're lying here on the mat. With the hand on the belly, the right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart. Just take notice of your heartbeats, if you can feel it coming through. And at the same time, just take notice of your belly expanding and contracting as you take a breath in and you exhale out. So as you're breathing, try and go for that deep belly breath. So on the inhale, really take the breath into your belly. So you're making full use of your diaphragm. And exhale, feel the navel go towards the spine as the air leaves your belly, your lungs, and out through the mouth or the nose. Take another 3 deep breaths at your own time. In through the nose and out through the nose. So now comes your Ujjayi breath. In through the nose and exhale it out. And again, in through the nose and exhale out. On your next inhale, just blink open the eyes. Keep the breath going. Keep inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So keep your Ujjayi breath going. Bring your knees so they're pointing towards the ceiling. Let's take our hands into an interlace and just set it behind our heads. And on the inhale, your next inhale, take your legs up towards the sky. So you're going to point your feet towards the ceiling. We're going to come into just some ab work before we commence the flow. So start to take some scissors. So on the inhale, take the right foot down, point into toes, hover it 2 inches off the floor, and then bring it back up. And then switch. On your exhale, bring the leg down, bring it back up. And right. And back up. And left. And let's keep it going for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring your feet back up towards the ceiling. Just curl your toes towards your face as if you're holding the ceiling up via the soles of the feet. And let's slowly start to bring both legs down from 90 degrees down to 45 degrees. And let's hold it there. Really push out through the heels and curling your toes in towards your face. So you're really working your core here. Count of 3, 2, 1. and bring them down a bit further so they're hovering 2 inches off the floor for counts of 3, 2, 1. Now point out through the toes and go into, start kicking the legs as if you're doing back crawl. So you're pointing your toes and you're giving little kicks for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Relax your feet back down towards the mat. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. And again, inhale and exhale. Bring both knees into your chest and give them a hug in. And bring the forehead up to the knees. And then just start to massage out through your lower back. Just take your knees clockwise and then anti-clockwise. I want to come into happy baby pose. So we're going to start to, again, we're going to bend into the knees. Start to draw your knees in towards your armpits. Try and keep your tailbone, your lower back on the floor so you're not riding up too tough. And if it's there for you to take the outside of both feet to come into the pose, your happy baby, you can go for it. Otherwise, maybe if you're not quite reaching, see if you can take the outside of your calves here and just start to draw your knees a bit close towards your armpits whilst maintaining the lower back on the floor. So as soon as your lower back starts to lift off, then that's your edge, that's your point just to stay in the pose. So in happy baby here, we're opening up in the hips. If you want to go a bit deeper, start to press your feet into your hands. So using the resistance of your hands against your feet to come into a deeper stretch into your hips. And a release. Start to bring the feet together. So you come into Baddha Konasana legs. So your feet together, your knees are apart. And just try and cup the outside of both feet. So you're almost coming to an interlace. And you're drawing your feet a bit closer towards the body. Again, if your grip isn't quite there, just take your hands in front of the shins and start to draw your legs a bit close towards the body there. So you've got two variations. Holding it for another 2 breaths. Number 1. And then bring your knees back together. We're going to rock and roll, this time along the length of the spine. So inhale to rock up, hover the feet off the ground, and exhale to come down. Inhale to rock up, exhale to come down. Let's take 2 more. Inhale to come up, exhale to come down. And your next inhale, as you come up, you're going to hover the feet. You want to come into boat pose. So 1 more exercise before we start. Maybe take the underside of your hamstrings and see if you can raise your legs, your shins, so that they're parallel with the mat or your mat or the floor. Start to roll the shoulders back. So you bring your chest through. You're sitting nice and tall. I'm going to hold it here for another 5 breaths. So you want to test your balance a bit more in boat. If it's there for you, maybe let go of the underside of the legs and just take your hands out to the sides. And if you want to level up 1 more, see if you can start to point out through the toes for another 2, another 1, and then come up into a seated position. We're going to cross the legs and roll over and come into our tabletop. So you're stacking your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath the hips. We're going to come into, we're going to open up through the body. So start to place the right hand in towards the center of the mat. Lift up the left leg, take the left leg towards the back on the mat. So you're high on the left toes, drop onto that left heel And then start to take that left arm up off the floor towards the ceiling. Take your gaze up towards the hand. Really yawn the body open as if you're waking up first thing on Sunday morning. Keep gazing towards your hand, your left hand, or maybe take your gaze down to the right hand. As you relax the neck, as you open up through the body, you're drawing your left shoulder blade towards the right. And on the exhale, start to bring the left hand back down towards the mat. Come back onto the left knee, and let's get ready for the other side. So this time we're placing the left hand in the center of the mat, lifting up through that right leg, pointing towards the back of the room, and then dropping down to the right toes. And then the right sole of the foot by dropping onto the right heel, and open up through the right side of the body by taking the right hand up towards the ceiling. As you play with your balance, engage through your core. Start to draw that right shoulder blade a bit close towards the left shoulder blade as you yawn the body up, or open up the body a bit further. And then come back down towards the mat. With both hands stacked under the shoulders and the curl the toes and press up into our first downward facing dog. So you might be behind the toes here. Just start to walk out through the legs as you start to come into your calf muscles. Don't neglect the hands here. So really press the palms into the mat as you lengthen out the arms and find space in your back. Normally we're hunched over our desk. So we're just finding space and bringing awareness to our back here. And come to stillness as you energetically draw your heels a bit closer towards the mat. They don't need to touch. Just energetically give that impression that they're coming down. On your next inhale, let's come up high on the toes. And I'm going to tiptoe, tiny tiptoes forward, keeping the hands where they are. You're going to start to come over the hands or the shoulders. It's a really good practice for handstand. And then when you can't go any further, just step forward towards the front of the mat as you come into ragdoll. Just sway from left to right. Start to sway the body up one vertebra at a time. Your torso, your arms, your head is heavy. As you reach the top, start to roll the shoulders back. Bring the head up. Take your feet so the hip distance apart. Your palms are facing forward. Close your eyes. As you roll the shoulders back and bring your chest through in your Tadasana pose, your mountain pose. Just feel yourself come back into your breath. Let's take a deep inhale in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Let's come into a flow. So on the inhale, let's draw the arms up towards the ceiling. Take the gaze up. On the exhale, bend from the hips as you come down to our Uttanasana. Inhale to come into a halfway lift, hands in the shins. Lengthen up through the arms. Be long in the neck. Take the gaze towards the front of the mat. On the exhale, place the hands down at the front of the mat. You bend into the knees. Step back with the left and the right first. Together we meet in our high plank. Let's rock forwards and back on the toes. As we come into our core. On the next walk forwards, let's all for the first one drop down onto our knees. Uncurl the toes and bend into the elbows as you come down to our low plank, bring our chest towards the floor. Keep the hands underneath the shoulders, press up as you come up into a cobra. So in our cobra, roll the shoulders back. So again, we're bringing that chest through the arms. Create space in our lower back here. And on the exhale, calm down. So just bend into the elbows. You bring your chin back down towards the floor. Let's come up again for another cobra. You're putting the hands into the mat, rolling the shoulders back, shining the chest through. And on the exhale, come back down. On the next breath, we're going to push back into a child's pose. So press the hands to the mat. And bring the bum back down towards the heels. Walk the hands back. So we bring the forehead to the mat. Our butt is going towards the heels. They may not reach. Soften to relax. So feel free to come into child's pose at any point during the practice. Just catch your breath. Just slow down. Just listen to your body. On the next inhale, we're going to come up into our tabletop. We're going to curl the toes under, press our hands into the mat as we all meet once again in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And exhale to lengthen. Press the hands into the mat as you lengthen out the arms. On the next inhale, we're going to come high on the toes and then step forwards towards the front of the mat. So we meet in our forward fold. On the inhale, just come up for a halfway lift, hands on the shins, lengthen out through the arms. Exhale, soften to release. As you bring the torso of the arms towards the mat. On the inhale, bend into the knees as you take the arms all up towards the ceiling. Bring the prayer towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, draw the prayer to the chest. Let's go again. On the inhale, the prayer goes high. Front of the hands to the gaze. And on the exhale, bend from the hips as you come all the way down, taking a prayer for your chest, for your Uttanasana. On the inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the shins, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, bend into the knees. As much as you need to place the hands on the front of the mat. Step the left foot back and the right foot back as we meet in downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. High plank. We meet in high plank. That's what falls on the toes. You can take the variation by dropping onto the knees. Otherwise, bend into the elbows for a low plank. Press through the toes. You can press up into a cobra. Or if it's there for you to come straight up into a upward facing dog. Let's together take upward facing dog. Again, roll the shoulders back. Your knees will be off the mat potentially. Press the hands into the mat, curl the toes under. And let's meet in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out. On the inhale, we go high of our toes. Let's step forwards. And let's meet at the front of the mat in our forward fold. We're going to come into a halfway lift, hands on the shins. Lengthen out through the neck. The neck is nice and long. Taking that gaze down towards the floor. On the exhale, soften to release. On the inhale, bend into the knees. Let's come up again. Taking the hands all the way towards the sky. On the exhale, draw the prayer to our chest. On the inhale, going high with the hands. Exhale, bend from the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press the hands down at the front of the mat and step back to come to a high plank. You would take the modification or press into the toes. On the exhale, come down to a low plank. On the inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On the inhale, jump or step forwards. Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to relax. Inhale to go high with the arms. Exhale, press to the chest. Inhale to go high. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat and step back. Inhale to walk forwards. Exhale to bend into low plank. Inhale to come up for upward facing dog. Exhale to come to downward facing dog. Inhale for one breath. Exhale to release. Inhale to come high on the toes. Jump or step forwards. Let's meet at the front of the mat. Inhale to come to halfway lift. Exhale to release. Inhale to go tall through the body. Exhale, press the chest. Inhale to go high. Exhale to bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back as we meet in our high plank. Inhale to rock forwards. Exhale to take a low plank. Inhale to press up to upward facing dog. Exhale to curl the toes under, and let's meet in our downward facing dog. Inhale to come to the toes. Exhale to jump or step forwards. We meet at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften to release. Inhale to come high. Exhale, prayer to the chest. And relax. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the nose. On the next inhale, take the weight into the right foot as you start to lift that left foot up off the floor. So you bring your knee forward, the left thigh is parallel to the floor. On the exhale, we're going to start to bend into that right knee as you take that left leg back towards the back of the room. You're aiming to point the back heel out towards the back of the room, so you're curling your left toe towards your face as you meet. Wow. In our warrior 3. So feel nice and strong for that right leg. If you fall out, just embrace the wobbles, the falls, and see if you can come back into the pose. Either take your hands into prayer towards the center of the chest, or maybe into superhero arms. Wherever the arms feel comfortable to aid with your balance. We're here for another 2 breaths. Long through the body for another 1. And then start to lean the body back as we drop the left toes towards the back of the mat as we get ready for our crescent lunge. So you come into a bend into that right knee, and you're long through that left leg. You're high on your left toes, and you're aiming to push your left heel towards the back of the room. That really gives you your strength, stability in that left leg. And when you're ready, nice and tall for the torso. On the inhale, let's start to take the arms up towards the ceiling. On the inhale, so you can lengthen the arms up any more. And on the exhale, see if you've got a slight back bend there. So you open the chest up towards the sky. And come back towards center. Bring your torso back up. Let's take the hands into prayer on the inhale. And exhale, soften to release. On the inhale, lengthen up through the torso. And on the exhale, going to twist and turn the body over towards the right side of the room. If you want to take the modification, you can come down first onto the left knee. And we're aiming to take the outside of the left tricep onto the outside of the right thigh. So we're twisting from the lower back here. So we're massaging out our internal organs. We're here for another 3 breaths. So if you're in the modification, with the left knee down, or your left knee's up off the mat, just press your hands into prayer and use the resistance of the left tricep against the right thigh to help you open up a bit further. Here for 1 more breath. And on the inhale, we're going to spin the body open as we get ready for our warrior 2. So the right foot is facing forward. The left toes are pointing out towards 10 o'clock. The right arm goes forward. And then left arm goes back. So both arms here are parallel to the floor. Just have a gaze over both hands. And then find your point of focus. So you're going for an external rotation here through the hips. You open up the body, taking your gaze maybe to a point on the wall ahead of you. Or maybe take your gaze over your right middle finger. It's a lovely strong pose this. We're going to hold it for a bit longer than normal to build strength in the legs. The legs might be shaking here. On the next inhale, flip that right palm over, lean forward and start to come to reverse warrior. So you bring your right arm out towards the ceiling, maybe take your left hand towards your left hip. Or if it's there, you want to wrap your left hand around your lower back, maybe grab the inside of your right thigh to help you come a bit further over and deeper into a stretch. So going for a stretch through the right side of the body, stretching out through the intercostal muscles in between our ribs. Give it one more breath and then start to cut all the hands of the right arm over. We're going to come to side angle lunge. So placing the right elbow just on the inside of the right thigh and just use the resistance to help again open up our body to the left side of the room. Even let the right arm hover. Bring the right hand towards the floor and the left hand goes high. So you should feel a nice stretch through the inside of your right leg here, your right thigh. Again, just using the resistance of that right elbow against that right leg to help you open up and come deep into the stretch. For one more breath. And on the next inhale, just draw the body up as we come back into our warrior two. So right arm goes forward, left arm goes back. I'm going to cartwheel the hands down towards the mat. Come up high into the left toes. And any which way that's comfortable for you, you're going to step that right foot back to join the left foot. That's once again we're meeting our Kumbhakasana pose, our high plank. We're going to come to side plank. So let's drop first onto that right knee, that right shin. And then bring the left heel towards the mat. So your left sole of the foot is flat. Let's take the right hand into the center of the mat and start to lift up through that left arm. As we come into that modified side plank, you can play your balance here. If you want to level up, see if you can stack your right hand underneath your right shoulder blade, your right shoulder, and then start to lengthen out through that right leg. So your left leg is stacked over the right. And you're ballooning through the body. So you're taking a banana shape, drawing your hips up towards the sky. For another breath. And if it's there for you, to lift the left leg up, take that left foot and place it behind your body. So place your left foot almost adjacent but on the floor behind that right knee. I'm going to start to open up the chest towards the ceiling. So you're taking your left hand towards the front of the room. Taking gaze towards the front of the room. You're strong in that right hand. For one more breath. And on your inhale, flip your body back over. That was a strong pose, that one. So if you weren't quite there, it's all good, don't worry. Again, just go to your edge. So we're all meeting our Kumbhakasana pose, our high plank. Playing the balance and engaging through the core for another 2 breaths. Another 1. Either take the knees down to the mat or press forward onto the toes. Bend into the elbows for a low plank. Together, let's press through and come up for our upward facing dog. Drawing our shoulders back. And on exhale, curl your toes under. I want to meet in our downward facing dog. We're here for another 3 breaths. Just do a quick body rotation and see where you might be feeling the stretch in your body today. Become aware of your heart. See if your heartbeat has sped up. Take a deep inhale in and press the hands into the mat to lengthen that through the arms, create space in your back. See if you can take your tailbone a bit higher towards the ceiling as you energetically draw your heels towards the mat. On the inhale, come up high on the toes and jump or step forwards. And let's meet in our ragdoll and our forward fold. Uttanasana at the front of the mat. Just Sway the body from side to side. Start to sway the body up. One vertebra at a time. Get to the top of the mat. Shine your palms forward. We're meeting again into Tadasana pose. We're going to give each other a couple of seconds just to come together, your feet hip distance apart. Maybe close your eyes for a couple of breaths. Acknowledge where you are right now. On your next inhale, start to bring the weight into your left foot this time. So repeat that, but on the other side. So bring your weight into your left foot. Maybe open up the toes on the mat. So you've got a nice surface area to play with, and start to lift that right leg up. So the right thigh is parallel with the floor. Take your arms to position, which helps with your stability, with your balance. And on your exhale, start to this time bend into that left knee before taking that right leg back. Again, play with your balance. And you're aiming to energetically push your right heel towards the back of the room, curling your right toes in towards the face. And let's take the hands into a place of, or one that helps with your balance again. So either, for me, it's hands into prayer, or maybe superhero pose. You're long in that right leg, in that left leg. So engage your left quad to aid your stability, and then start to drop that right leg back down by dropping into your right toes. Just maybe amend your leg position here. Maybe go a bit wider with the legs as you get ready for your crescent lunge. So getting nice and tall for your torso. Draw your navel towards your spine as you gauge for the core. You're pressing your right heel towards the back of the room. So you're extra strong and stay with that right leg. And on the inhale, start to take your arms either side of your ears as we meet in our high lunge. So inhale to lengthen the arms up, and exhale to come into a slight back bend. We're not just dropping back again. You're going up and back. Shine your chest towards the sky. Really engage with that right quad. And let's come back towards center. Let's bring our prayer to the center of our chest. We're going to get ready to spin over towards the left side of the room. So again, let's start by maybe dropping down onto that right knee. You're still high on the right toes. That will help for when we come back into the high position. So bringing our hands into prayer. Inhale to lengthen up, so tall for the torso. Exhale, start to turn the body over towards the left side of the room. So again, this time, the outside of the right elbow is sitting on the outside of the left thigh. And just using that resistance to help us open up the body more towards the left side of the room. So if it's there to bring your prayer, hands back into prayer. See if you can take your prayer towards the center of your chest. And as you do, you'll probably start to find you're coming more into the twist. So you're twisting from your lower back. Can you massaging out your internal organs here? And if you want to come into the full expression of the pose, start to come into that right leg, press into your right toes, and lift that right knee off the mat. We're here for another one breath. And then let's start to open up the body as we get ready for our warrior two. So the left foot is facing forward. The right toes are pointing out towards 2 o'clock. Left arm is forward, right arm is back. As we come into warrior two. So again, this is a nice open position from the hips. Feel as if you're pushing your weight into the outside of the back of the foot. So you're not dropping down into that right knee. Just find your drishti, point of focus at the front of the room. When you're ready on the inhale, flip that left palm over and then start to take that left hand up towards the ceiling. Maybe take your right hand towards the right hip. Maintain that bend in that left knee. Try to avoid that left leg straightening out. You're not going for a perfect right angle. So this time we're finding the stretch down the left side of our body. And again, if you wanted to take your right hand off your right hip and wrap it around your lower back to help you come deep into pose, and go for it. We have another one breath. And then start to bring that left elbow down, sit it inside of that left thigh as we open up for side angle lunge. So start to take your right hand up towards the ceiling. Follow your right hand with your gaze. Let your left hand hover. Then you bring it down towards the mat. Here for another 2 breaths. Another 1 breath. On the inhale, engage for your core as you come back up into warrior 2. And then I'm going to cartwheel the hands down towards the front of the mat. Turn the right foot forwards. So you're high on the right toes. And any which way, you're going to step that left foot all the way back. You might have to walk it back. And together we're going to meet in the Kumbhakasana. Our plank pose as we get ready for our side plank. This time we're coming into side plank on the left hand. So let's drop down onto that left knee and that left shin. Place that left hand at the front center of the mat. Drop down onto that right heel. When you're ready, start to lift that right hand up off the floor, taking it up towards the ceiling. You can hold it here in a modified side plank, holding it here for another 5 breaths. If it's there for you, you wanted to level up, test your balance, test your strength. You can just go to your edge today. Maybe lengthen out with that left leg and stack that right leg on top of the left. Again, you're just drawing your hips up towards the ceiling here. Here for another 3 breaths. Again, either hold it here or play your balance by lifting that right leg up and stepping the right toes, placing it onto the mat. So now you're sitting behind the left knee, and now you're opening up your body towards the ceiling, taking your right hand towards the front of the room. So your gaze towards the front of the room for 1 more breath. And in whichever pose you're in, let's flip back over and let's meet in our high plank. Rock forwards, back on the toes. Again, we're here for another 5 breaths. So really engaging through the core, building strength in our abs. Another 2 breaths. Another 1. Drop onto the knees or come straight down into your no plank. Press the hands to the mat as you come up into a upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back so you bring your chest through your arms. Press the hands into the floor as you curl the toes under. And we're going to meet in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Let's come high on the toes. Jump, step, or walk your hands towards the front of the mat. And bend into the knees, bringing our bums towards the heels, and walk the hands back. As you take the legs down towards the mat, curl the toes in towards your face. Just give your legs a little shake. From here, we're going to come into a variation on pigeon pose, which will help us create openness in the hips. So when you're ready, start to bring the left sole of the foot down towards the mat, so it's flat on the mat. And our aim is to take our right foot up and over and lay it on the left thigh. So Work out which distance works for you with the left foot that will enable you to balance that right knee. Your bum might come off the floor initially. And if it does, just find that right foot coming up and over and sitting on that left thigh. Your right knee's pointing out towards the right side of the room. You might find that your right shin is at a right angle. If you want to come deeper into the pose, then start to lift up the bum and walk it a bit closer towards your left heel. So you're basically narrowing the gap between your bum and your left heel. And just keep going again until you find yourself coming deep into the stretch. So you feel it in your right hip flexor. Just keep going. And then when you found that sweet spot, you're just holding. So curl your right toes in. So rather than just pointing your toes out, curl them in. And see if you can draw, just energetically draw your right knee down. So you're coming deeper into the stretch. So you should be feeling the stretch on the inside of the right hip. Maybe on the right hip flexor and the right glutes. We're here for just 2 more breaths. So pigeon pose is a lovely one to come into, either this variation or half pigeon. It's a nice one to come into, just hold. You can probably hang out in this type of stretch for a good 5-10 minutes. If you do something like this daily, you'll start to see your hips opening up. It's always good to release tension from your hips. And when you really start to come out of it, just come out by the same way you came back in. So walk the hands back, take your bum further away from the heel, and take that right leg up and over. Let's get ready for the other side. This time the right sole of the foot is flat on the mat. And we're taking that left foot up and over the right thigh. You might find that one side is a bit more open than the other. Again, let's curl the toes towards the left side of the room so your foot is fully engaged. And then just find that sweet spot by walking your bum a bit close towards your heels. And then when you're there, just energetically draw your left knee down towards the floor. So on this side, I feel it a bit deeper in my left glute, as well as the inside of my left thigh. So I'm going to hold it here for another 10 seconds. Again, you don't have to be super close in with your bum. You're only going to a point of one way you can feel the stretch, not to a point of any pain, particularly in your knees. And then start to take the bum back, lift that left leg up off that right thigh. I'm going to go long with the legs. Start to bring our backs down towards the mat. As we get ready for our Shavasana, our resting pose, just close the eyes, let the palms face up towards the ceiling, let the feet just flop out to the side. Go long in your neck again by bringing the chin up towards the chest. Have a look at your toes, and then bring the head back down. Just release the Ujjayi breath. Come back into your natural breathing. Close your eyes and relax. Start to come back into your hands and your feet. Maybe shake your head from left to right as you massage out, again, the back of the skull. Take a deep breath in and exhale out through the mouth. Start to draw your knees in towards your chest. Bring your head towards your knees and then rock up when you're ready to a comfortable seated position. So you're becoming cross-legged, or maybe taking your knees to the floor, just sitting on your heels. Just place your hands into your laps. Just close your eyes just for a couple of seconds, and again, just give yourself thanks for turning up, for being present, for giving yourself 45 minutes to move your body. Take a deep inhale in and exhale to release. All done. Thank you. Ooh. I did want to play some music, the good old John Barnes rap, to get us in the mood for later on, but didn't have time, so my bad. Thank you for rocking up and for being present. Hope everyone has had a good week. Hope everyone's keeping safe and well. It's always a pleasure to be able to practice for yourselves on Sunday. Again, it's always available in playback. Classes are free. Donations are always welcome to Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. But that's me done for another week. Before you come in, D-Man, I'm on it. I'm on the mats. I know what's coming. I did abs just for yourself, B. Always badgering for abs. Good to see you, Jenna and Steph. Hope you're keeping well. Always love to have you practice with us, practice together. But wishing everyone a happy Sunday. Stay well, stay healthy. Fingers crossed there's a good result tonight. And I will see you all next week. Feel free to hit the like, subscribe. Catch you later. I'll leave the chat for another 30 seconds or so. But take care, guys. What's your predictions for the final score for today? If you're into football, knock it in the comments. I'll keep it going for a little bit longer. Cool. Take care. Bye-bye.